Hi, I am the runner of this channel. My name is Nemo Means No Name, and I'd like to make a comment on Islamophobia, Islam, and some of the stuff that's being said out there now. Some of you may be wondering why I'm wearing this. I look stupid. I realize that. I'm actually a converted Muslim. I converted to Islam very recently, and I live in a very small rural town that with a mom who is an elected official, and I fear that if this gets out, there could be repercussions. Uh, Ideas of my faith gets out, that there could be repercussions. So I've hidden my face, and it kind of hurts my talking a bit, but I hope you'll forgive me for that. So what I just wanted to say was on March 24th of 2012, a woman died after being beaten to death for being a Muslim. From what we can tell, not all the facts have come in yet. It hasn't officially been called a hate crime yet. It most likely will be. The idea of hate crimes is something I don't necessarily agree with. That's a completely different topic, so I won't cover that here. But uh, it just seems lately there's been an ever-growing sense of Islamophobia, and I have been saying for a while that it would lead to violence, and this is not just, I'm not saying this like because I think I'm smart or anything. If you just look at the history of the way the country works when it gets scared of somebody, labels a group, starting with uh, blacks, the Catholics, the Irish, immigrants, stuff like that. You see a point of violence reaching. Uh, you see violence coming into the picture after a certain point. Um, and I just think I'd really like to comment on it, just because I think it's really sad that in the United States that we have this violence, and while it has happened in the past, and it'll most likely go away, and these things never last. I just think it's important to take note of it, and I think it's important to understand it. And it's strange when you see it, because it's not really condemned in a certain aspect. There's no real serious repercussion. There's no real serious discussions about its root causes and stuff like that. And unfortunately, what happens is it gets lost in the din. The tragedy of someone's death and the reasons behind it get lost in people trying to shout over each other. If you go to the YouTube video, the news report of this woman being killed, I'll try and put it in the description down below. I'm not really great with uploading stuff, but if you go to the YouTube video and you read the comments, most of the comments deal with, whether uh, atheism is better than religion, religion is better than atheism, one religion is better than another, um, and it stems from the girl in the video saying that whoever did this does not have God in their hearts, basically. And I think it's been taken out of context. I mean, obviously, she's very emotional. She's very hurt at the moment. So, but anyway, um, it, what we see is that people, they lose sight of the real issue. This person was attacked and killed for their beliefs, and what is causing this to happen. And you start seeing ideological fights. People who kind of mean well, but they end up hurting the situation even more because they just yell at each other. Which side's better? I'm better than you. You know, all this kind of stuff. So I think people need to have a serious sit down discussion when it comes to Islam. Um, I think that this country has a real issue with this religion. The fact that I have to hide my face out of fear of repercussion is strange. You know, it, I don't have to do that. Even if I was a Scientologist, which Scientology takes a lot of flack, I don't really think that I would be afraid to tell people that I was a Scientologist. Um, so I think that there needs to be a serious sit-down discussion about the Islamophobia in this country, because there's just serious misconceptions that the media and that people in charge, politicians, don't try to put down the idea that, like, the religion, like Sharia law, can be implemented in the United States, which it can't. There's no way that that would be possible. Number one, it would violate the U.S. Constitution. Number two, Sharia law can only be put in place by a caliphate. And the caliphate doesn't exist. It can't exist in the United States. So we don't need to worry about that. But there's fear of it being spread by politicians and right-wing, talkers or whatever. So there's all this misconception. And really, to say that there's no problems within the religion itself is to be naive. There are obvious problems in the what we find in countries that are Islamic states: Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Which, although Afghanistan is barely a functioning state to begin with, so you can't really point to that. However, what we're seeing in those are not religion. We're seeing governments. And I think that there needs to be a clear definition of this, because when we talk about when Islam is spoken of, it's not spoken of in a religious context. It's spoken of as a governmental context almost. Look at Saudi Arabia, look at Pakistan, look at Iran. This is not religion. This is government. And that's forgotten a lot of times. And if you notice, each one of these countries doesn't like each other. So to say that it's this idea of like a almost like the Soviet monolith that we thought was going on during the Cold War, it's often viewed through that lens, not through not a communist monolith, but a religious monolith. And it's obviously not true if you look at the way these countries interact with each other. And just by that, people should be able to realize, if that's pointed out to them, they should be able to realize that it's not this religion that's causing this problem, it's government. So there are many problems to talk about. I think the real point of this video is we need to have a sit-down discussion. We need to take this seriously, because one person has been killed from this fear of and hatred of a religion. If this has happened to a Christian, and this is, I'm not trying to make one religion sound better than the other, but to say, if this was to happen to a Christian, there would be immense news, outrage over this. But since this happens to a Muslim, and that's not even the real tragedy of it. The tragedy is 5 children lost their mothers. That's the tragedy of it. But if this has happened to a Christian, we would see a much different response. And I think that's a tragedy in this country. There should be a huge response for anyone who's killed. Buddhist, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, anyone. If someone breaks into their house and beats them to death with a tire iron simply for the fact that they don't agree with them, there should be a serious outrage in this country for that. This is a country that is built on tolerance, and tolerance is not acceptance. People, you don't have to like these people, you just have to put up with them. That's tolerance. And so I think that there needs to be a serious discussion about how this is handled. And we can't get distracted by this religion is better than the other, or no religion is better than religion at all, or that kind of stupid stuff. So, I'm sorry I've been rambling on. Most of you have probably turned this video off by now, and I don't blame you. For those of you who stayed around, this is kind of a serious video, so I don't have any like funny treats for you at the end. I just thank you for sticking around. Please comment and let me know what you think of this boring video. And if any of you have any questions about Islam, I recently converted to it. I was raised Catholic. I was agnostic for a while, and then yeah, I converted to Islam. And so let me know if you have any questions on that. So thanks.